Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. And as we do that, we are really speaking life into ourselves, into our own subconscious. So good morning, Shauna, Dennis, Grant, Lauren. It is good to see you here today. So yeah, what we're going to be working with one of my I am cards. Each one of these cards has really positive and empowering message on it. And so I pulled 5 new ones for this week. So let's have some fun. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card. What I'd like for you to do is to say out loud, I am that affirmation. So let's have some fun. Let's pull a card. Good morning, Dan. It is good to see you from Omaha, Nebraska. Go visit the Omaha Furniture Mart or catch a ride on a NetJet while you're out there. Anyways, let's begin by saying that today I am ambitious. I am ambitious. My vision inspires courageous growth. So I am ambitious. My vision inspires courageous growth. Are you ambitious? You are ambitious. Your vision inspires courageous growth. And I'm going to write that down in the comments. So I am ambitious. My vision inspires courageous growth. All right. Good morning, Tony. I see that you have arrived this morning. It's nice to see you too. I am ambitious, and you are ambitious too. And in order for any of our ambitions to come to pass, we have to grow into them. That's the whole thing about dreams. It's like we don't dream of things that we can already do. We don't dream of things that are effortless for us or that are trivial for us. We dream of things that we have never done before. And one of the primary benefits that we get from dreaming big and by having high goals is that we have to grow into these things. We have to change. The true benefit of achieving a dream is not the achieving of the dream, because as soon as we achieve a dream, as soon as we do it, we've already done it and we're bored with it. Have you ever gotten something that you really wanted after a long time of saving for it, a long time of hoping for it, and very quickly discovered that it didn't actually make you happy, like that you still felt exactly the same as you did before you got the thing that you had so fervently hoped for? The thing is that it's the chasing of the dream. When we chase the dream, that's the fun part. And the true value is the person that we grow into along the way. I remember when I was doing some world traveling, I was living down in Costa Rica, and I was riding motorcycles down there, and I saw all these people coming through on their bikes, and they were going around the world on their motorcycles, and I thought, wow, what a cool thing to do. I'd like to do that. And while I didn't necessarily want to go all the way around the world on my motorcycle, I thought, well, I got to go back up to the United States anyway and take care of some business. So why don't I just go up to the US, buy a motorcycle, and then ride it down to Costa Rica? And so I went up to the US and I bought a motorcycle, and I got decent at riding it. And then I headed south into Mexico, and eventually through about 6 other countries until I finally ended up in Costa Rica. And after I got to Costa Rica, I was just myself, but now I had a motorcycle in Costa Rica, and I realized that all those people who I had idolized who were doing this were really no different than me. They had simply decided to do something and then overcome all of the obstacles, and oh boy, were there obstacles. But when I looked back at it, the person that I had become as a result of overcoming all those obstacles, that was the benefit. It wasn't that I got to brag and tell everybody how cool I was because I had done this really hard thing. I didn't care. To me, it was ordinary. When somebody talks about motorcycling around the world, I think to myself, I'm like, oh yeah, that's figure outable. That's not that big of a deal. Whereas prior to doing it, I would have just idolized them for their bravery, for their willingness to take those risks, to Indiana Jones it around the world. And but after I had done it, it just seemed ordinary. It seemed like, well, there's nothing special about this. Anybody can do it. I know because I did it. But the person that I became along the way, that person, yeah, figure outable, Amanda. I think that's a Marie Forleo term. I think I first heard it from her. Um, but the person that I became along the way, as I overcame challenge after challenge, after I figured out how to get the bike across what is essentially the DMV in Spanish, in 12 militarized checkpoints, the way that I handled all of the problems that came up, and my own internal state of being, that's what changed. That's what changed. And so at the time, when I did it, part of me was doing it because I thought it would be cool. Part of me was doing it, at least before I started, because I thought that other people might think that I was cool. But in the end, I realized that doing it didn't make me a more interesting person. And doing it certainly didn't make other people think I was a more interesting person. But doing it showed me who I really was. It showed me what I was made of. It showed me that I could overcome the very serious challenges that come from riding a motorcycle across continents. And there are serious challenges to that. So the benefits of achieving our dreams, of doing these big, ambitious things, of doing stuff that we've never done before, the benefits exist inside of ourselves. It's about who we become along the way. And so now, when I dream really, really big. I dream much bigger than I ever think that I can achieve. And yet, when I look back at my own life, I realize that the person that I've become chasing these dreams is a person that I really like. Back before I had motorcycled through, Central America, I remember the reason that I originally left the United States was because I didn't like myself and I didn't like my life and I didn't like who I was being. And so I figured that maybe a radical change in scenery would help me to actually like myself more. And while that didn't actually happen the way that I thought it would, I realized that I became a much more resilient person, and that I did start to like myself, not because I changed my scenery, but because I introduced myself to a whole new slew of problems related to living abroad that I then had to solve. Me going on the journey of not liking myself to liking myself, that journey was just fraught with problems that I had to solve that I did not like solving while I was in the middle of solving them. And that didn't bring me all that much joy after I solved them, because I figured, well, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And so what really happened, the real transformation came from understanding that I could, from recognizing that I was made of stronger stuff than I initially thought. I chose this imagery of a spacecraft departing the atmosphere, parting the clouds and departing the atmosphere, to represent that ambition. I didn't actually want to choose a spacecraft that belonged to any country or to any corporation. I actually chose one that was a little bit more stylized, because ambition is not something that is relegated to just countries or individuals who are brave enough to go off into space. But when I think about ambition, and I think about people who have vision, typically think in terms that are so much larger than themselves, so much larger than their generation. The folks who are currently working on space travel and on making human beings and interplanetary species are doing it because they believe that they're solving problems that are so much bigger than themselves. And the problem that we are not going to think that these people are any more interesting because they go into space. We are going to think that they're more interesting because the problems that they're solving have direct practical application in our lives. And so the people that they're becoming, I'm sure that's wonderful for them. But the people that the person that I'm becoming as a result of watching them do that is beneficial as well. So we are ambitious people, and our vision inspires courageous growth. We have to grow into our vision. That's what makes ambition valuable. And when other people are ambitious around us, it shows us that it can be done. The people who are riding their motorcycles around the world showed me that it could be done. I watched them do it. I said, these are people just like me. If they can figure it out, I can figure it out. And then I did figure it out, and it was awesome, but not for the reasons that I thought it would be. My friends, let's be ambitious today. Let's really hone in on our dreams, and let's make them even bigger each and every day. Let's dream bigger, and let's dream bigger than we think we can ever accomplish. Because as we do that, that allows us to not just become the people that we see inside of our heads when we close our eyes, but also it allows us to inspire the folks around us to do the same thing. And ultimately, a rising tide lifts all ships, including all spaceships. So let's do that. Let's all just be those ambitious people that we know we can be, so that we can be surrounded by others who are on the same trajectory as us. So I want to say thank you to everybody who came by today. It is good to see you guys. Happy Monday to you. Good morning to Lauren, Grant, Dennis, Shauna. Dan is here as well. Tony, it is good to see you guys around. And it looks like Frank and Amanda have come by as well. It is very nice to see you guys here this morning. I will return tomorrow at 9 a.m. For yet another wake-up call. We're going to be debuting another card, so it'll be a lot of fun. Let's go and expand our dreams today. Let's expand the dreams of the people who are privileged to be around us, and let's have a fantastic day together. I will return tomorrow, 9 a.m., and with yet another wake-up call with Maui Paul. Until then, I love you and care about you, and I think that you're awesome. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Aloha from paradise.